Hello everyone, and welcome to the Round Glass review for another ridiculously long named Pentax lens. Alright, this is the HD Pentax-D FA 21mm f2.4 ED DC WR limited round glass review. This lens is made by Ricoh. It is, well, we're going to call it the 21mm FA limited in this video for shortness and to avoid confusion with the APS-C 21mm f3.2 DA lens. So 21mm FA limited. Now, let's disassemble the entire name. HD stands for high definition coatings, which are, as of this video's recording, the most advanced coatings used by Ricoh on their optics. Pentax-D, which is Pentax-D, means Pentax Digital. FA is the full-frame designation that goes back to the film era, with the FA lenses being the autofocus SLR lenses. ED stands for extra low dispersion glass, which this lens includes. Obviously, it's in the name. DC stands for the DC motor, which honestly I think is just direct current, but I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, someone will correct me in the comments. And limited means that this lens is from the currently 9-lens limited family. Now, as Ricoh says, limited series lenses are designed to produce natural image renditions that truthfully recreate the ambiance and sense of depth of a given scene. This lens started production in 2021 and is, as far as I know, still in production here in 2023. Given the lifespan of limited lenses, I would honestly be shocked if it was out of production anytime before, 2050. Typical lens uses will include landscapes, architecture, cityscapes, and astrophotography, such as star trails. This is not like a technical astrophotography lens. This lens, however, is also great at close-up shots and detail work, and it really shines when the subject is near the front element. For your bottom line up front, look, if you came here expecting anything other than a glowing review with effusive praise, man, are you going to be disappointed. This lens is amazing. It will leave my hands when the coroner pries it out of my cold, dead fingers. The focal length and angle of view are 21mm and 91.7 degrees on full frame, 32mm and 68 degrees on APS-C. The aperture range is 2.4 through 22. Element and group count are 11 and 8. Design type is retrofocus. Filter size is 67mm. The closest focus is 7 centimeters from the front element, which is 18 centimeters from the sensor plane. And in the US, that is 1.5 baseball cap hat brims. It has both autofocus and manual focus, with the autofocus motor being a silent micromotor. The native mount is Pentax KAF4. That's important, by the way. The lens dimensions are 74 by 89 millimeters, and the weight is 416 grams. The oldest camera that this lens will work on is the Pentax K1, insofar as I know. The reason isn't the mounting. This will physically mount on any K camera. However, the aperture uses an electromagnetic diaphragm control, and only the K1 and younger models include that. This lens will not work with any adapters for any other camera system either, including the monster to Sony E adapter. If you want to use this lens, you need a Pentax KAF4 mount body. My next tip is going to be to get close. This lens works stunningly well at close focus points and wide apertures. This lens loves photographing things that are right in front of it, so use it that way and you'll be very happy. In that same vein, shoot it at the hyperfocal distance too. That's exactly the opposite. How is that in the same vein? I don't know. Anyway, this lens is stunning for landscapes and architectural shots with image elements that are both right in front of the lens and on a distant horizon. And yes, this lens This lens is also stunning with mid-distance subjects like architectural interiors, and it can work beautifully for that. Really, I guess maybe the last 3 tips summed up very quickly are, this lens it's pretty amazing no matter how far the subject is from the front of the lens towards infinity and whatever aperture you're at too. As long as your image composition is going to be good, this lens is going to give you something that's really nice to look at. As with all wide-angle SLR lenses with register distances longer than the focal length of the lens, this is a retrofocus lens design. But other than the first 2 lens elements, it doesn't really look like one. That look comment stems from the balance of elements around the aperture and that the rear elements fan outward. And in many retrofocus lenses, those rear elements are often the same-ish diameter from the aperture to the back of the lens. One really neat thing in this diagram is that you can see where the internal focusing elements are, the 4 to the left of the aperture. That's a lot of space for them to move around. What I can't tell you is that if they move in the same direction and together, or if they move separately. I would guess the latter, but I could be wrong. Now, as a note, I recorded exactly no sample footage with this lens. My Pentax K3 and K1 bodies do not record 4K, and all this channel's videos are in 4K. Upsampling from 1080 codecs would not show what this lens can do for video, so we're going to breeze through this section and just cover some facts and figures. Breathing is acceptable, though noticeable at the closest focus point. In practical use for video, this can be used creatively if it's leaned into a bit. Aperture is electronically controlled on the camera's body, and I couldn't tell you if it can be adjusted smoothly during recording or not. I'm going to guess not. The front element is both stationary and non-rotating. Focus ring is stationary and good finger grip width, but it does focus past infinity as an FYI if you plan to use this lens for infinity focus shifts in video. For manual focus damping is not great. The lens handles like an AF lens, which is to say the manual focus always feels a bit loose. Now that's great for AF lenses, but AF lenses just don't translate into a smooth manual focus experience. The autofocus effect on video is minimal to none. If this lens's motor makes noise, well, my ears are too old to hear it. Sharpness stopped down to f4 until around about f11 is spectacular. It's definitely a highly usable lens wide open, much more so than some comparable lenses on the market as well. And stop down, it will still deliver great full-frame images if you can avoid cropping. But really, this lens delivers very nice image detail from around f4 to f8. That's really the range where I liked it the most. And it's not going to leave you wanting for anything, even if you want to check the pixel level detail. Build quality is good, but this lens's focus ring does go past infinity. Always a pet peeve of mine. I do prefer an infinity hard stop. However, I can see how a hard stop beyond infinity would be beneficial for videographers, and some conjecture here, it may also be beneficial for the motor. The latter is the only reason I can think of to have a hard stop past infinity on an OEM lens, especially one at this price point. Now, by the way, one note that hard stop past infinity only applies to manual focus, not to autofocus. Contrast is, if you look at the photos in this video with distant mountains, quite good. That this lens can deliver contrast despite atmospheric haze and ultraviolet scattering is a statement to good contrast delivery. Aperture stars are not this lens's strongest attribute. They're fine, but they're not the best that Ricoh can do. I mean, look at the Green Ring 15mm DA Limited and ask yourself if this lens performs better than that one. The answer is no, and to that end, Ricoh, aperture stars are a performance characteristic that can make an image really pop, and if possible, delivering stunning aperture stars is worth the design time on the aperture leaves. Out of focus areas are, as is the case with most wide-angle lenses, just there and moderately distracting unless you're focused very close and wide open or near wide open. One of the nice things about this lens is that it can perform well wide open and close, as well as at the hyperfocal distances, but out of focus areas at moderate focus distances with an aperture of f4.5-ish and wider, they're fine but not exciting. Distortion, even allowing for some off-axis camera placement for the sample shot, is strongly in the barrel arena when focused close. In real-world use, distortion can be seen if you look for it, but it shouldn't really distract you from the images. Light loss is as strong as would be expected from an ultra-wide lens with some drop-off at each aperture. That said, it's really only noticeable when photographing a white screen. In the sample images in this video, as you've heard me say with many lenses before this, the light loss is an image characteristic, not a flaw. Flare alone and without ghosting was hard to achieve, and it required that the sun be inside the frame. When present, it's distracting, but in the last year or so of using this lens, I had to try to get image flare. Now, what that should tell you is that in actual use, flare will be a non-issue. Ghosting happens a bit more often and generally travels with a bit of flare, and it usually requires that the sun or a similar light be in the image as well. Most of the time, ghosting will be a non-issue if the sun is outside of your frame. Balance with cameras is good with a Pentax DSLR. It feels properly weighted and balanced and complements the heft of a DSLR body well. Ricoh has a great webpage on the design of this lens, and it's worth checking out if for no other reason than to learn about the 6 people who developed this lens, and yes, there's a link in the video description. When the team that made this lens set out to make this lens, they had 3 objectives: creating natural image renditions, making the lens enjoyable to use, and making this lens exciting to own and use. Look, they checked all those boxes well, and if I ranked every lens I own in terms of their sale order if I needed money in a pinch, I can only think of 3 lenses I would sell after this one: my Nikkor 18cm f2.5, Zeiss 50mm f4 Flektogon, and Zeiss 180mm f2.8 Sonnar, because finding that trio in Bronica S2 mount ever again would be impossible. So, of the gear that I own that could be replaced, if I ever needed to sell it all, this would be the last lens to go. So to the team behind this lens, if you hear this, I hope that conveys that, for me, this lens has achieved all your stated goals.